Okay. So Lisa wanted me to record because she's on a sales call. All right. Well, think back to like 3 weeks ago, whenever we were in Florida. So what were your top takeaways from conference? Your big three, the things that your aha moments, we talked about the bonus, the things that would have paid for the meeting. So who would like to start? Your top takeaways. I'm going to take notes and share this with the group. So
I could share. It was my first conference and my first chance to meet other franchisees and also leadership. And I think probably my biggest is the resources I can reach out to now, having a personal connection. It was amazing just to, you're kind of going through this learning curve of the first several months, and it was great for me because I now know who to, I know I'd feel comfortable to reach out to almost anybody that was there. And that was a huge takeaway for me.
Okay, so personal connections. Okay.
Personal connections.
What else did you have? Were there any specific ideas or processes or programs that you are really intrigued with that you want to roll out?
Mine was the Google stuff that Monica talked about. So I already did most of it, but just getting, an idea of what she does and how she does it. And then the social media stuff.
Yeah,
Google ads. Yeah, I did a Google ad. I did a Google post. And then I just want to beef up my social media because I feel like that's huge, but I think that was a good takeaway.
Okay.
I agree.
Laura Landisman, how about you?
I have been opening up wholesale accounts. That's my thing. when I mention to people sometimes I'm able to get furniture wholesale, people are like, ooh. And then I know that's really worked well for Renee. And in hearing her success with that, I'm like, I feel like I'm leaving money on the table by not offering to customers to help them buy furniture, to clients who are not selling their house, but people are desperate to find furniture right now. So I've been trying to open up wholesale accounts. And so I just did a whole flurry of that the other day. Got a catalog in the mail from Sagebrook.
Who have you signed up with so far?
Well, I have my spreadsheet up. Who did I send stuff to? I think I have my spreadsheet open. I'll have to.
You said Sagebrook.
Sagebrook. Let's see if I could find my spreadsheet, because I sent a flurry of, and it's easier than it used to be because so many of the companies you can fill out a form on their website now. And before they used to, you download a form, you had to fill it out by hand and then fax it or scan it and email it back. So it's easier now than it used to be to sign up for the accounts. So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to reactivate with Coaster, but I sent in for Uttermost, Modway, Wholesale Interiors. No, I haven't done that one yet. Sagebrook, Classic Home, Alex, Surya, Furniture Classics.
That's good.
So, but the challenge is always the initial order if they have minimums. And then, so the first thing I try to do when I do get access is to go in and see just how much inventory they actually have. Because that was the challenge, with Sagebrook, they have a beautiful catalog. They sent me a beautiful catalog. Love looking at the catalog. But when I went to their website, say metal wall art was the section, and there's like 10 pages of metal wall art in the catalog. Well, probably maybe only 3 pages of that is actually in stock and ready to ship. So that's the challenge I think all of our wholesale suppliers are having right now, just because of how hard it is getting things over from overseas right now. And manufacturing's behind and all that because of COVID and tariffs and the whole 9 yards.
September, they're supposed to go up again, prices. So just be cautious of that. And then the shipping is just out of control. So that's going to go up too. So I've noticed a huge increase on Uttermost. It's almost like teetering on that point where
not worth it.
Yeah, it is. It is by the time you pay shipping. So there's a couple things though that I think are worth it that I might actually order before September just to take a chance, A, to have an inventory, and B, I'd like try to sell it because they're good deals for them. So that's the one downfall right now.
I mean, I found a little accessory piece that I actually bought recently for $14 or $15 within the past 2 weeks at Home Goods, and Sagebrook Home has it, but their wholesale price is higher. Their wholesale price is $16.
I found that too.
So, you know, you start to wonder, oh, am I really leaving money on the table by buying stuff at Home Goods? Not when it comes to accessories, really. They have good prices at Home Goods. They really do.
Mhm.
And don't forget with Home Goods, if you got the credit card, you get points. And they
Rewards,
send you
yeah.
coupons and all that too. So you got that part about it as well.
I've
I
been
think
buying
if you're
a lot-
flexible on what pieces you really want or need, if you find them on the local market and get discounts, it can sometimes be better considering the shipping and
Yeah.
putting it together and all that. If it's something really specific that you need or want, then the wholesale route. You know, if you need 3 white couches, order 3 white couches. But
And
the
like,
the odds and ends, I just hear people say it's just you know, if it's not something specific you need, I need a little chachi here and whatever, then
Mm.
you really do better just being a good shopper locally.
and
Mhm.
Laura, look, a good advice is that find out their billing policy. So like Alex bills, you could either find credit, don't get me wrong, you could apply for credit or you could put it on your credit card, but they bill right away, where Uttermost doesn't bill till they ship. So if you want to plan for the future and order some couches that are on back order or whatever, they're not going to bill you right away. So it's no loss to you. You're just going to get couches maybe 3 months from now, but maybe you need them then. So something to
Okay.
think about.
Yeah. Good to know. Good to think
Yeah.
about.
That's the same thing for Bassett Mirror. They bill when they ship.
Yeah, it makes it nice.
Mhm.
So I think some of you guys are RISA members, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
So that buying program that they have, has anyone ever bought anything through that?
I have.
I use their discount for Alex because it's higher.
How much is it? Do you
I think it's
recall?
10% now, but I think it's gonna go down to 5 in what, September, October or something?
We
Yeah,
get
okay.
25% with Alex.
Oh, okay.
That's after you spend
So
5,000.
much money, right? Yeah.
I thought that, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but when we were all at Vegas Market, we were all supposed to get 25% across the board.
I think you're right, Nancy. I remember
Yeah.
the email went out about that.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
But I get the 25%, but I'm positive that was implemented anyway, 'cause, after the fact.
Okay, well, I can check. So,
Hmm.
all right. So I was just curious on that. All right, so let's keep going. So Laura, any other major takeaways?
Oh, I immediately bought that gizmo that Shelly Barndollar bought, the Color Muse thing. That thing is really cool. I pulled out my sample pieces from our the Show Homes palettes with Sherwin-Williams, and I was able to scan them, and it immediately popped up. And it identified the color number and everything. And you can specify any brand of paint. So if somebody says, I know this is Benjamin Moore paint, you can say, okay, show me what the Benjamin Moore matches to this. And you just hold it up against the wall. It sends it to your phone, and you can save palettes on your phone. So I was able to create, our neutral nuance palette and relax or whatever, and create palettes and name them in my app, in the Color Muse app on the phone. And so I think it's actually really neat if somebody's trying to match paint color. Now it is, and they will tell you up front, if you're trying to do, it's not for buying touch-up paint. Okay, people, we all know this. You got to paint corner to corner, ceiling to floor if you're painting a wall to make it look right. But if they, like, I have a client right now they had painted their kitchen cabinets and it opens into the family room, and we need to paint their built-in wall unit in the living room, and they want to do it the same color that they painted 5 years ago in their kitchen, and we can find the color to match that because it doesn't touch, but it's in the same room, and it's great to be able to match paint.
Laura, can
So-
you share the link where you ordered from? Because when Shelley and I were trying,
Where do you want me to share it to?
the one that she had ordered was discontinued, And I was a little bit leery about ordering because we weren't real sure which one would be the
Why don't
best.
you put
If you
it in
found
the
another one that'll
chat?
work, would you share that?
Okay, yeah, I can put it in the chat. But I mean, the thing is so small. It fits, and I just took a little velvet jewelry pouch this big and stuck it in there to stick it in my purse. It does have a cap on the end of it. But I'm totally impressed with the little gizmo. I just think it's great. And boy, my clients just think, wow, what is that? They just be very impressed by it. So
Does everyone remember this? Anyone not know what she's talking about, by the way?
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember it as she speaks to it. I'd like to reach out and get that. Could I?
I'll text it to you. I'll text you the link.
Okay.
Yeah. And I
Laura,
want to say,
text
like,
it to me
whoa.
too, please.
Will do.
well,
I'm a slow learner.
and I think it's like $50. I mean, it's relatively inexpensive. Do you
Yeah, it was
have to have
$50.
but do you have to have an Apple, like an iPhone, or?
I don't remember. I do
Yeah,
have an
okay.
iPhone. I know it's
Yeah.
compatible with my iPhone, but I do not remember that off the top
Okay.
of my head.
Okay, just curious.
Um,
Okay. That is cool. All right. Anything else, Laura, from conference you can recall?
You know what? I heard so much about doing updates, and that's something that I have not really pursued. And I will say, and I actually had a consult yesterday, my apprehension is a lot lower hearing the other areas of the country where you guys are going after updates so much. And so like even getting the source like ProSource, I remember when we did our roundtables, I actually reached out to the local ProSource here in Kansas City, and I've got an account started, and so that was great. So
Okay, good.
as a resource.
Good deal.
Just real quick related to the Color Muse thing, if you guys don't realize, if you set up, if you have Amazon Prime personally, you can set up a business account and use your Amazon Prime on your personal account on your business account. And that's what I do. And you can actually switch in the Amazon app on your phone between accounts. So I have my Show Homes, Visa debit card set up to pay for my supplies and everything that I order from Amazon, but I still get the free shipping because I'm paying for Amazon Prime. So if you're not doing that, it's an easy way to keep your expenses separate
Okay, awesome.
and still utilize Amazon Prime.
All right, so the Golstons, Dr. G and Reggie. So how about you guys, your first conference? So what were your big takeaways, action items from the event? They're staring at each other probably.
Well, I'll tell you something that Dr. G told me was when I talked to her this week, she said, I'm making cold calls. You're not going to believe it, but I'm making cold calls.
Yes.
Yes, that is. See, I'm one that was muted. Reggie wasn't even muted, but yes,
Dang it,
I
Reggie.
started making calls. I even called Brian the other day to
Oh.
say, hey, Brian, I'm making calls. What do I say about this?
Yep, I warmed up that call.
Yeah, so, it's still
No.
not on the top of my list as far as what but I'm doing it.
All right.
I'm doing, and
Good
I've got
for you.
a meeting, a lunch with a realtor on Saturday from one of my cold calls. She didn't hang up on me. And so she said that her stager didn't have inventory. And I was like, well, guess who does? That would be me. So, yeah. And I may have a
How
home
many-
manager home from a cold call.
How many cold calls did you make to get those two prospects?
Well, I'm doing 25 on Monday because I'm only doing the homes that I've listened to. When Brian them did their segment, I listened to, she said, what is it, 22 days? And then that's when she would make a call. Now, if a home is like $1 million, I'm calling. Vacant $1 million home, I called those immediately. The other ones, I waited to 22 days. And so I'm at 25. That's what I had for the past 2 weeks. And I think I got to the 12th person and was able to have a real conversation. Some people just, not
Well, that's
interested,
pretty
hung
good.
up, but so,
What'd she say? She does 100 calls and she hopes to talk to 10.
yes. So I did 25 and I talked to everybody to a certain extent, but number 12 was the magic number for me.
Okay.
So, yep. So 2 meetings out of that and a possible home manager home. I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Reggie, how about you? Are you focused on September 9th?
I am focused on September 9th. That's gonna be a big day. I think it's a holiday, isn't it?
It is around, yeah, for y'all don't know, it's the first game of the year. The
Yes.
Tampa Bay Bucks are playing the Dallas Cowboys. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
That's a holiday.
There you go.
I'll be in Denver. I have to find a sports bar in Denver to watch the game.
At 10 o'clock in the morning.
That's a night game.
There you go. I like that.
What?
Robbie.
4 o'clock at night? What time? 6?
But what my takeaway from the conference, as Brian mentioned, the personal connections, that was awesome. And advice from Leanne with the newsletters as far as with your audience, how to trim down your audience to increase your score. I did go through and eliminated a lot of the realtors that never opened the newsletter, since we started sending them back in January. So my score is going up, which I thought was pretty cool. And also, I went to a networking event. I think it was last week. There's another one that I'm going to attend. And I think that's going to be pretty good, going to these networking events, not only meeting realtors, but just other people in the real estate industry. I think that's going to be real helpful. So
You say, what specific event are you talking about?
I went to an event last week called, it's a group here in Atlanta called Real Estate Connections. And it was actually started by a gentleman by the name of Peter Pasternak, who was the star of A&E's Flip This House or something like that. So he's here in Atlanta. And I joined their Facebook group. It's like 20,000 people in the Facebook group. And the 15-minute conversation that I had with him, he said that they do not have any home stagers that are sponsors for this Real Estate Connection. So he invited me to their next event, September 2nd. He said, come out, take a look. It's going to be a pretty large event. And, decide from there if you want to be a sponsor for the Real Estate Connection. So that's the plan, to go
How
out.
much did they quote you a price for that?
He did not. He did not. So I'm just going to go, and I think there's a different pricing scales. So I'm just going to go and just get all the information.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say you may want to share that with Lynn before you do anything. Sometimes that can be pricey, but what about the rest of you guys? Anyone else done any networking groups that have worked? I know like Catherine's big into BNI and things like that. Robbie?
I did 2 BNI meetings, but I don't know. It was kind of fast paced, the same people over and over again. I don't know.
I think
was
BNIs are really great to visit and then connect with the realtor in each group.
Yeah.
And it just depends on your area. But I had a hard time meeting the attendance requirements when I was really evaluating that, and I decided
you got to
to
go
join a
every
different
week.
group. Yeah, I decided to join a different group that had a little lax attendance requirements. But BNIs are great to visit.
We just joined one in Asheville, and it's turning out to be really good for us for a photographer that we've been able to connect with that is not going to hold us to an annual license or
Okay.
$600 per picture. We've connected with another contractor and more trades people.
Yeah, I think
You're
Nancy,
cutting out,
Nancy.
Nancy.
Nancy's coming
Look
down
at
the
more than
mountain.
just the real. We're going to get
Huh.
the biggest.
Pratt, you want to finish your thought there? or Robbie?
I was saying Nancy's coming down the mountain. She's been in Asheville for a couple of
What?
days, and no, they're talking to me now. You need to hush.
Hey now.
She So she's
She's gonna be coming down the mountain
She's in a
with a
particular part of
fist.
I-40 where she doesn't have very good reception as she comes down the mountain. But we went to a BNI meeting and we met some really good contacts. The thing about this that seems like it might work for us is there are 6 other
Is that better
BNI.
now?
Yeah, honey, go ahead. I'll be quiet.
No, you were there with her, so go.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sweetheart. But the thing is, there are 6 other BNI groups in the Asheville area. And if you join if you join one, all of the other groups in Asheville right now are doing everything virtual. So to address what they were talking about the attendance, you can do it virtual so you don't have to show up. And, obviously they only let so many realtors or so many people from each group, from each different classification show up. So this particular group meets very close to our warehouse. Stephanie was able to come back from a consultation and she and I went together. And she did a great job with the group that was there. She set up some follow-up meetings and stuff, but more importantly is the getting to meet the people in these other groups and do like Laura said, get to know the realtors that are spread out over the entire area. So we're going to have 6, I can't remember, I think it's 2 realtors per group. So that'll give us 12 realtors in addition to the group that we already have. But I left it out in the car. There were several people in that group that were services that we needed. A local printer, Nancy mentioned a local photographer, and we have been having issues recently, especially in that market, that the photographers in that area were wanting to charge us $600 for licenses to use their photos. Even if the realtor had paid and we paid half of the fee, they wanted us to buy a separate license from them to be able to use the photos on our website. So that's been a bit of an issue that we've been trying to work through. So hopefully we found a pretty decent way with a good photographer to get around some of that. So that's worked out well.
Yeah, I mean, and BNI is a franchise as well. So I think the reality is you're gonna have good ones and not so good ones. So it sounds like you may want to visit several till you find the right deal. Lynn,
The thing about BNI is you may have like 20 people in it, but they're all very loyal to each other. Once you find a group you're connected with, I mean, they will bring you leads and you'll be expected to bring them leads. And, it's a loyalty thing with just a few people.
Well, we talked about it from the standpoint of it's kind of a takeoff of the, hey, I got a guy or I know a guy. That you take a look at all the different classifications of people that you have there, and you can make that statement, whether it's somebody that's already working for us within our organization. We actually know a guy that we've had some stuff and dealings with, and other people know, so you can feel a little better about recommending someone,
Right.
even if you're new to the group. And I've had several phone calls from people I met that day that were just saying, hey, it was really nice to meet you. Looking forward to seeing if we can have you in the group. And make sure you please send us your information on what you do. Plus, we get a chance to tell about who we are and what we are. And since we're still new to the area, it's a great avenue for us to get. Even if we only joined it for a short period of time, if we found it didn't be successful, you don't need to get many jobs out of a referral from that you pay for your dues.
Right. Oh, I used to be in IHOP. I would be in a morning group for a year or two, and then I'd move to a lunch group for a year or two, and just to expand my network that way.
So I think takeaway is from this, if you haven't tried BNI, it may be worth it. Just check it out and find one in your local area. All right, so Leanne, let's talk. Was this your first conference? Your second?
Yeah.
This is your first one, right?
Well,
Okay.
I guess technically it was my second one, but it was first in person.
Okay, that's right. That's right. So, what were your top takeaways? Action items?
Well, I mean, we have a lot. So we're gonna try to start. We're gonna try to create like some flyers around like the move-in specialist and one other. My notes are a little scattered. I have it somewhere else. And
She
so we're
used her workbook. I'm so proud.
Wow, she came prepared.
So we're gonna try to get those going out. We're gonna try to like make contact with like moving companies, like particularly like moving labor companies, and see if we can give them some of our flyers to hand off to their clients. And then we're also going to create a flyer or something, like a little thing that we leave behind when we destage, with like a handwritten note to the new owners, and like congratulate them on their new home, and kind of introduce ourselves and just say like, here are some things that we do. If you're interested, that could be like, small updates or move-in specialists or furniture purchasing, all that kind of thing. Because we're trying to really reach out to buyers more, because, the seller side is so hard right now. And that's a way for us to kind of get directly connected to buyers, is leave a pamphlet on their new countertop.
Yeah.
So so this is something you got at conference. Was someone doing that already? Do you recall?
No, I don't think anybody was doing that already.
Okay, so that's an
I
idea.
think it was just
Okay.
like sort of the ideation of like move-in specialists and trying to connect with buyers more. We kind of took it to the next level.
Yeah, I like that. All right, what else did you walk away from action item wise?
I'll tell you, while she's looking, Leanne's comment to me was, it was a lot better than I really expected.
I guess that's good. Yeah.
That was very good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Matt, I'm going to be following up with you on SEO, because I know we had talked about the poor performance of our website. So,
Right.
and then, design files is another thing that we're going to try to start doing, because I think if we just I really want to kind of look more professional and ramp up more on like the furniture purchasing side. And I think that could be a way for us to accomplish that.
I know Laura Lee uses that a lot. Is anyone else using design file?
Catherine Chandler is the one that kind of mentioned it to me. I don't know that she's using it heavily, but she mentioned it.
Yeah, I talked to the founder, CEO of it right before conference. So I wanted to see what the interest might be, but seems interesting. All right. So anything else from your side, Leanne?
We're also reaching out to iTrips. There's no one directly local in Raleigh, because let's be honest, nobody wants to come to Raleigh. But
I don't know about that.
not to visit, I should say, not for vacation. That's not where you come. But there are several on the coast within like a couple hour drive of here. So we're reaching out to see if we can connect to those owners, see maybe there's opportunities for us to do like Airbnb type stuff out on the coast.
So I don't know if you guys recall, someone mentioned, well, it may have been Catherine, but iTrips is a franchise that does like Airbnb short-term rentals. And I think she's going to start doing work with one of the local franchisees. So, all right, awesome. All right, well, good feedback. All right, so going through my list. So Pratt Barndollar, you still there? I saw you a minute ago. No, you faded to black. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't see you. You're there. Oh. I don't see you in your gaming chair. All right.
There you are.
I stole it from my kid.
Buddy.
We can't hear you.
You
We
sound
can't
very
hear you,
muffled.
Pratt.
You're very muffled, Pratt.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, better. But we can't see you.
All right. So what were your top takeaways?
Well, I quite enjoyed my chat with, and I want to follow up with that. Set up a meeting
We can't hear you, Pratt.
where she and I and Junie can talk. Of course,
We can't hear you, Pratt.
Huh.
You're muffled. It's like you're too far from the microphone or
Okay.
something.
I think it's probably because I'm playing this through my computer. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's better. Okay.
better. It's not
So I
perfect, but it's
gotta move
better.
it out of the picture.
Okay. So,
And so, you know, as Brian and Reggie talked about, for me, it's always about the interpersonal communication and the chatting we have with other franchisees. I think that's so important because these are people that are in your same business, but they're not your competitors.
right.
You can speak openly and talk about, you know, what are my challenges, what, you know, what great ideas do you guys have, and that's always a good thing. On the speaker that we had, the lady that gave her,
Tammy,
sorry,
Tammy Evans.
yeah, I love that she gave her CV or her resume in video or in photos. I thought that was great. And I also like that she broke us out. The breakout groups were in by the month of your birthday, because right away we had an immediate connection there that we may not have had before. And I thought that was,
Mhm.
but I enjoyed chatting with the other people in my group in that regard. But like I say, like Brian and Reggie mentioned, it's all about the connection with people that you make. And that's important. But the big follow-up for me is I want to spend some time with Leanne and do a follow-up meeting to see how we can improve our social media and online communication.
I don't have a picture here.
Okay. Well, I would say the personal connection, I agree with all you guys, the importance of that. Because I talk to people looking to buy franchises, we get other stagers, and honestly, and this isn't trying to sell a franchise, I'm just telling you, they're like feeling like an island because they're trying to figure out this business by themselves. And it's a lot. I mean, if you have to start from scratch, not knowing anything, it's really difficult.
Mhm.
So having all other people doing it and sharing stuff, that's one of the things I really like about franchising in general. All right, well, thank you, Pratt. Let's see. I saw Kim Odom. Kim, are you still on? I thought she was on. Okay. All right. So Jones is. I don't know if Nancy's driving down the mountain. I think that sounds like a
Can you
country
hear me
song. She's coming down the mountain.
Coming down the mountain.
We're coming around
Okay.
the mountain. So we're coming around the mountain. For me, it was the Google AdWords. Angela is working on that, trying to get that really up and going, the keywords for us. And we'll start seeing that roll out when she gets back on Monday. And then we took to heart what Brian was talking about personal connections. And I've been working really hard with Stephanie up in Asheville. And we've set up a new plan. Email is not working as well for us up there. So she is doing the texting and the calling. But she visits 6 offices twice a week. So
Wow.
in person, we have a local food distributor 2 doors down from our warehouse that brings in all kinds of really cool and unique goods from all around North Carolina. And so we made up gift baskets from their warehouse. We made up 25 baskets, and literally within hours of dropping off the first 4 baskets, we had 2 phone calls and we booked 2 jobs.
Wow.
So the fact that we made it personal and we made it local really hit home with a lot of them, and they appreciated the fact that even though most of the state's trying to shut down again, we're going out and we want to touch and see, not touch literally, but see as many people as we can, just in case it does shut down. They will remember us, see our faces, and we're really trying to be a lot more hands-on and personal.
That's great.
It's funny. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of The Office, and I've probably seen it many, many times. And there's one that I saw recently where they're desperate for business, so they go and take gift baskets to all their old clients. That was like 15 years ago. So the old gift basket does tend to work. It's tried and true.
It really has worked, and we're getting ready to do the same thing in the triad. But I think that using the AdWords, following back on the new business development list again, and just teaching her specifically in Asheville to follow the program from the very beginning, because that's the way we started with her. She's into a good routine, but I implementing those things that we learned at market. And I don't do the email stuff. I loved what Leanne said, but I don't do that. Angela does that, so I don't have to worry about it. But I did share a lot of it with Angela.
Okay, awesome. All righty. And Robbie, did you have any other items, takeaways yourself?
I had a couple of things. Oh, wrong. Hang on. Let me get my notepad. First one was,
quit being a stuck up.
my first biggest takeaway was do not try to outdrink Dr. G. That was the first thing.
I hadn't heard this story.
Are you serious? Is that me?
I am surprised.
I do.
I don't think I'll make that a note.
I don't think Reggie is even in her ballpark.
Wow.
He's her DD.
Yeah.
Yes, he definitely is. He definitely is.
That was on the top of my list of things that I learned at conference this year.
Well, thank you, Robbie.
The next thing I put down is, and again, when I go, I love going. I love seeing everybody, but I try to listen to the conversations that happen around the presentations, because I think I pick up a lot of stuff from there. But again, some of the key measurements I had was, in the time that we're trying to do all the things that we're doing, I wrote a note down again about looking at margin management. I think that's always important, and looking at reviewing all of our prices in light of what's happening around us, the cost of everything, and in trying to make sure that we constantly review what we're doing with our pricing in light of things going up, but also in light of competition, to make sure that we're not leaving something on the table. Which then just led me into the next piece, was the overall stuff about finances. And when Bert talks about finances, he always comes across in a particular way that just piques my interest and my attention, because I know he knows so much more about that kind of stuff than I do. So I listen. So I made a lot of notes, and I wish I'd have known you were going to ask this question, because I actually just took my notebook out of my briefcase when I left the office to come home tonight, because I had so much other crap in my briefcase. Because I took a lot of notes. I had nearly a full page of takeaways of things that I liked, but I didn't review it before we came here. So those were the top things that I pulled off of mine. Now, in particular, I know there were some things that we got out of the roundtable discussion groups, because people are just talking about very specific circumstances when we said it, things that had happened to them and things that they had encountered. And I know that especially I had several notes on the one that Lisa had led. I don't remember exactly what they were off the top of my head, but I know I took several notes there. And I know we took some specific notes in Bert's when we were talking about insurance and things again, and it had to do with call. Oh, I know what it was. It was the scams. That was the part that Bert talked about a lot, or we talked about in Bert's roundtable, were the amount of scams that people were trying to play on people in these difficult times, at looking at what was going on with your insurance and your coverages. And then I think the other one was taxes. Nancy, is that right? Wasn't there something on scams on taxes?
Yes, people pretending to be Pratt talked about that, the Department of Revenue.
That's what I thought. So those were some of the side notes that I took away that I thought were just side note conversations, not particularly in the presentations.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Any other takeaways from anyone? from the event?
Robbie, I'll be home in an hour.
All right. Well, I will say, I think we were all a little nervous about conference with everything going on. And I know other people having conferences coming up in the next few months in Florida, they're a little nervous as well. So I'm glad we got through conference without any major issues or weather related. So I think that may be a first, a conference without major weather issues. So that was awesome.
The fact that we haven't heard reports of a bunch of us getting COVID is great, even though most of us, I believe, are vaccinated, but very happy about that. I'm having problems because my countertop company, although almost all the installers got COVID, and so I'm having jobs pushed back.
Really? Wow.
And they're like, we're bringing in subs. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm waiting for your good guy.
So, well, we got a few minutes. So who's got like a pain point, an issue they'd like to get some help with? So we have quite a few people here who may have gone through it. So struggle, headache.
Trying to find enough help.
Yeah, I need to find a new painter.
Okay, let's start. All right, well, Robbie, you said first. So let's go to that one. You said staff. What kind of staff are you talking about?
Well, for us right now, the whole the update side, updates, renovations, minor work, everybody is just so busy that trying to be cognizant of what's going on out there. For example, a fiberglass shower surround, a one-piece molded fiberglass shower. Went to order one the other day. 90 days to get a shower. It took us 47 days to get a closet door. Which, honey, it arrived today. Be careful when you pull in the garage and don't hit it. It is contractors are so busy right now that if you're, Ryan, you were talking about doing some updates and things like that. The piece of advice I would give you is be very, very careful if you go out and try to find you a contractor to do something. I know there's a lot of people right now that are looking at breaking away from people they're working with.
Mhm.
And so, quote, they're available. We could do your job. Well, they might be able to do your job, maybe, but a lot of them are new in business. So be very, very careful of what you get. Right. Because they don't have a reputation on their own, and you're not sure what's going to stand behind. Mm-hmm. But we really, Nancy and I were talking about the other night, we're at a risk. We've got a couple of really, what we believe are really good jobs. And I can't get anybody to quote me a price so we can try to lock them up and get them on a calendar, just because everybody is so busy. They're doing all the work they can possibly do. And it's making it difficult for us to go out and solidify some of that business, because we simply can't get them pricing back. And we're not just going to use anybody that we don't know or know something about right now, because it's still our name. And it's amazing how much business is out there that we cannot tap into.
Yep.
And I feel really bad about it.
Three comments on that, Rob, because I really relate to what you're saying, and it cuts across lots of businesses. I have, through EO particularly, I have friends in a number of different businesses who are struggling with similar things. Number one, the more you become a favorite of theirs, and I know you guys already work at that, but just speaking in general, the more somebody thinks they always treat me right, I can trust them, they are flexible when I need them to be flexible, they're realistic. Those things can make somebody want to do work for you before somebody else on the list. Second point is part of raising prices that you see everywhere is people trying to pay more to get the workers. That's part of the cycle. And while I don't want to just push that too hard right now, it's part of the economic environment we're in. I don't know how many times in the last 2 or 3 weeks I've stumbled across comments from business owners who say, yeah, I've had to raise my pay to try to do better getting the workers I need. And of course, that translates through to being realistic and flexible in your own pricing to keep your margins in line.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else who needs work done is facing the same thing. The pressure point is not only at you. So they're recognizing that if they really want to get it done now, they're probably going to have to pay more. There may be more acceptance of moving prices than we've typically experienced in the past. And the third thing that I've found in dealing with smaller vendors is the more you can be super responsive, paying them quickly, the more loyal they are to you. You know, a lot of these guys are you know, paycheck to paycheck or job to job, you know, trying to make the truck payment or whatever else. And if they know that they can get a sign off on the work they did and get a check without a big long wait, it means a heck of a lot to them. And as long as you can
They
protect
will literally
yourself from
bump
paying-
you up if you do.
What was that?
What did you say,
Said
Nancy?
They'll move you up, I think is what you said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they will literally bump you up closer in on their schedule and make you more of a priority if they know that they're going to get paid on time from you.
Yeah. And if you know you're going to pay them anyway for work done and done properly, then the more you can hustle to pay them quickly, the more you buy loyalty without really materially increasing your costs.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's true.
Well, I can tell you, all the International Franchise Association, the IFA, which is, you know, all the major franchise groups, every call, this is the number one topic, is finding staff. I mean, it is, it's all industry right now. And it was that, you know, they were like, oh, people can make more money on, you know, government assistance, et cetera. But I think it's beyond that. It's just, it's a tough time. And especially with specialty workers like we're looking to find. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm just curious, Robbie, Nancy, are y'all big enough to, as far as, do you think you're at a point where you could hire someone full time for updates?
We're trying to.
And we have 2 people that we're dealing with now. A new guy, Todd, that we didn't have a falling out with our previous contractor. It was just we had some serious conversations with him, and his business has really grown. He had 1.5 teams of people when we got started. He has 6 teams now, and he made I think the deal is he was just getting stretched because he made a comment the other day about how much time that we took of his versus how much we were of his business. And then Nancy went back to him about a week later and had another conversation with him. He goes, yeah, those numbers were probably just not accurate with what we said. But the real deal is, rather than give us discounts that we were given for bringing him business, he's got enough business now that he can book his own business and save the 10% that he was giving us because he's got all the work that he can do. So we're still using Brian, but we've reached out to another guy, another company, and we're looking for one more to try to do some things with groups that have smaller organizations to see if we can be a little more responsive. The whole concept being that they don't have as much time to prospect for business. So if we can just continue to bring them business, they might be more inclined to want to do our mid-level jobs so that we can book out. We believe with our first guy that we were going to have 2 teams out of his 6 teams that were working primarily for us. If we didn't have something, they would support over there. But he went out and he landed a few jobs that just ended up taking all the teams, and we lost that flexibility that we had because we have, I don't know, 4 or 5 large jobs that could be anywhere from $150,000 to $250,000 updates and renovations. And people understand the dilemma, but when we get to a point where quoting is a problem, so we're looking internally to try to figure out how we can take some positive steps to help our contractors with price quoting and synchronizing. Maybe I can go do quotes using some particular software that we can plug information in and it'll help spit some out. They don't want to share that information just yet because that takes away their leverage to manipulate their pricing. So I get it, but trying to figure out how to be more responsive to the client. People do understand the delay right now with people because they call contractors and they don't even get return phone calls. You know, we at least get a phone call back from our people, but they just tell us, you know, they'll go out and look at a job, and you know, after someone's looked at something, if it takes 6 weeks to give them a price, that's a problem. That doesn't look responsive enough.
So in the last 12 months, let's just walk through it. Because fuel, how much more is fuel than 12 months ago? Is it up 50%? Ended up some huge amount?
No, it's not up that much right now. Gasoline is running about, it was running probably 249, 259. It's probably running 289.
289.
319 now, depending. It's more in Asheville than it is down the hill.
Okay. Well, still, it's up a pretty good percentage. Freight.
30%.
So, okay. So you're up 30% on that. Your freight is up. What about, isn't the cost of inventory, your furniture, your accessories, isn't that up quite a bit?
That's a Nancy
For
question.
us, not so much because I really don't order anymore. I do the pre-market showroom sales, and of course we've got the one vendor over here where we can buy 90% off of retail, and we're starting to get more and more calls from businesses that have been referred to us to buy upper end, and they know the level that we buy. So for me, the cost of goods has not gone up.
All right. Well, the vendors I talked to said their costs are all going up, and
Yeah.
From all the way back from a year ago when you had those sanctions against China to the freeze in Texas, et cetera, et cetera. Paint is going up. I mean, so I guess the question is, are we pricing higher than we were 12 months ago? Are we pricing the same? Do we need to relook at our pricing? I don't know. I mean, we talk about margins, but I think sometimes we underprice ourselves because there's supply and demand out there. Is that something? Has anyone raised their prices this year?
We did.
No, but I had a conversation just this morning with Shelley Barndollar about how if the price of furniture keeps going up, we're not going to really have a choice.
Okay. So does anyone else look at pricing?
We don't
trying
really
to-
know here in Atlanta, but we've been underbid so many times on jobs. I mean, we've got some stagers in our area that I don't know how they do it.
Well, they're probably not going to be in business in a year if they're been at that low.
I mean, very low, to the point where Reggie, we
they
saw
could be just
someone's work,
desperate.
yeah, and he said we should. Would you say, Reggie, we should charge more?
Raise our prices.
We need to raise our prices. But I mean, they're giving away the house.
Yeah, those guys, I can just tell you, doing this for a long time, those guys they don't make it long term. I mean, sometimes they're just desperate and they don't want to pay they may not have a warehouse to put stuff in. So that's not a long-term strategy. So,
Well, you
Matt,
also
we
really
raised
need
ours.
to look at what the pricing gives it, you can't just say stage it. You have, what would be worthwhile if you have time is if you've been under bid, go back once the houses are staged and check out the quality, take some photos
Yeah.
versus your jobs and say, okay, you can pay X dollars and get this, or you can pay more and get all this. Which is more effective for you?
You want Walmart or do you
And
want
that's pretty much the same
Neiman
way that we've done it.
I think some people want Walmart. It's amazing.
Some people don't know that some people don't know that they can afford Neiman Marcus because they think all they can afford is Walmart.
That's a good point, Robbie. Yeah.
And we were that way when we got started. We were just tickled to get a job. And you have to build that reputation. But the thing is right now, and we talked about it at a conference when we were talking about pricing, was the fact that Matt was going through the list of all of the things that have gone up. So to not think that real estate values have gone up, houses are selling well over list price, the real estate agents typically are not dropping their commission rates. So if the price of a house has gone up 10 or 15% or more, whatever that happens to be, they're going to get their cut of that 10 or 15 or 20% more. So trying to look at that and figure out where you can pick up $100 or $200 or $300. I think a lot of what Nancy has tried to do is we've been trying to add some value on the staging, but make sure that we turn every staging job into another revenue stream as well. Whether we get a painting job or we get carpet or we get whatever we get something else on top of the staging.
Okay.
Try to make the price not be as easy to shop and as competitive. It says our staging price is this and competitor staging price is the other thing. That we may, I think, honey, what'd you do? You push staging prices up $100 or $200, $300?
I typically do it $200 at a time, and we've been creeping up over the last 12 months. But I want to add this to it because this is something that added so much value to us as a brand when we, for Triad, not last year, but in 2019, for our annual Realtor Appreciation, we used to try to do it at one of our houses that we have staged.
Yeah.
But we decided this time to do it in our warehouse, and we brought all our realtors into our warehouse, and they could see the product and how much we had invested in the business. And so many of them told us, we had over 90 of them come, and so many of them told us that was a game changer because they just thought we went out and did the wink and blink and nod, and the furniture appeared, and we just made it pretty. They didn't realize how much of an investment we had. So we're getting ready to do the same thing up in Asheville once we move the warehouse. I think letting realtors see the inside of your business and that you're fully vested in making it successful goes a long way.
Okay, well, I can pull up the door on one of my storage units and say, ta-da, this is what I got.
No, what you need to do is pull up the door on every one of your storage units and show them.
Yeah, I do have more than one. You are right, Robin. Ta-da. Here you go. Yeah.
At one point, we were doing like delivery fee or fuel surcharge and things like that. So are there additional line items that you could do that might not be in the staging price, but could help your margin? So I don't know if is anyone doing anything like that right now?
I did a thing where I've added that straight curb appeal package as an upcharge, and that's been working.
That's cool.
The curb appeal package?
Yeah, kind of a curb appeal package where I'll like paint the front door and do exterior plants and getting into outdoor decks. We have not done that in Kansas City, and I've got some decks on order right now. I'm sorry, some furniture on order, outdoor furniture. Kind of expanding that.
What do you charge for this package?
As a line item, it depends, and if I just do I did the front door and garage door and new light fixtures on the garage, and charged $1,100 for that. I was able to get the painter to come in at $400, and I just doubled his price, and so I did pretty well. I took all
Nice.
of my pricing and doubled it. Is how
Okay.
I remember,
That's a good idea.
you know,
I like that margin.
and then I just plugged it in on top of my stage.
Okay, we
And-
did that's good, Brian. We did a consultation today for an outdoor
Really?
area with a hot tub and
Well-
some other stuff. We were trying to figure out how we would do that pricing. So that's a good idea, Brian.
Yeah, I just kind of figure my raw cost and double it.
That
And
should be the minimum is double.
yep. And then I'm doing a couple builder models for the fall parade in September, and I'm doing outdoor packages with them. And I'm going to do a line item there as an adder.
So another topic, Leanne, you have been advertising or putting in your flyers, Feezy, the financing deal. Has anyone bought through that yet?
Nope.
No?
Oh, I had a client that used them to fund their update with me earlier this year in March. They actually
Okay.
tried to get a home equity line of credit and were denied, and they were shocked. And they were like, we were ready to pull the trigger. I'm like, well, let me send you this link. And they were so incredibly happy that they were
Really?
able to get it. It funded the whole $25,000 update, and the house sold in 3 days for $25,000 over what they thought they were going to sell it for. They were ecstatic.
Used Feezy.
Why am I
Nancy,
not hearing-
didn't we just have one that was going to look at using Feezy?
Yeah, we talked to them today. They're supposed to be putting in their application.
You should do like some kind of a blog or something about that, Laura. That's awesome. So
Well, it was a lower end house, and it was way down in the very, very southern tip of my territory, almost outside our territory. And and most of the people that I'm working with, they just writing checks. They have the cash. It's kind of crazy. I'm like, hey, you guys have that much cash and you're just laying around. Okay, I'll take your check. Great. So I've had very little people that need it, but it did work for this couple.
Huh.
So
Cool.
check out Feezy. So yeah, I think financing definitely could be something you offer.
Mhm.
So Shelley, you are joining us. We couldn't hear Pratt very well earlier.
That's because he just doesn't talk very loud.
We can barely hear you.
I think Mr. Technology needs to buy a microphone at Best
Yeah,
Buy.
buy that boy a microphone.
You know what? It's his stupid laptop. It's got a fan that turns on. And so when it gets kind of hot, the fan turns on and you can't hear. He needs a microphone.
What kind of Mickey Mouse laptop is that?
He needs to upgrade the Packard Bell.
Exactly.
Well, what were your top takeaways from conference?
I like the speaker a lot, the guest speaker. What was her
Okay.
name? I can't remember.
Tammy Evans.
Awesome.
Hey,
I
cool.
really
Have you read her book? Have any of you read her book?
Yeah,
You know, it's
I
a
love
great
it.
bathroom book. I mean, it's just, one short little chapter at a time. It's not a start to finish books. I mean, you can open it to the middle and so I encourage you to read it.
It's good.
Yeah, I liked that. I thought that was really good. I liked just the whole way she did that and talking about, your positives and thinking about those as opposed to your, what did she call them? Your clunks or your,
Your clunks.
The clunks.
yeah,
Yep.
And your zings.
and your zings. Yes, I liked that. Yeah. That was my favorite part.
Okay.
And then, of
Well,
course,
awesome.
Bert's speech was awesome.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I thought it was a great event. It was nice it's 2 years is too long between drinks, as they say. So it's nice to have everyone together. So I'm excited about La Jolla. That's going to be awesome. I was just in La Jolla a few weeks ago. It's if you've not been there, it's one of the great places on earth. It's pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
Matt was like right next
Can't
door to
wait.
where we were going to stay, but we couldn't tell Matt.
Yeah. All
We
these
couldn't
secrets.
tell him. So I will give you a little hint. You were talking about warehouses earlier. We're hoping that our welcome dinner or reception will be at the Gulliver's Warehouse.
Oh.
Good.
Yay.
That will be fun.
I can't wait to see it.
The
All right,
Gulliver's
guys.
the
That was
Gulliver's
such a
Warehouse
fantastic
is
conference.
the Gulliver's Warehouse is actually really close to the conference site, right?
No, I think you said it's about a 30-minute drive.
Hey, that's pretty darn close.
Yeah, in that area it is.
You know, we just had a discovery day with some prospects in San Diego. They came in from all over the country and they were pretty wild with the warehouse. So I think you guys will enjoy it. All right, guys. So anything else before we break? I know it's been a long day, especially for your East Coasters.
Conference was great.
The conference was,
Lynn and
Yeah.
Christy, y'all,
Yeah.
it was amazing. Thank you all.
They did awesome. Thank you, Lynn and Christy.
I really enjoyed it. I was a little skeptical at first.
Hey.
Wasn't sure. I can't help myself, right? First time, you're like, okay. But we enjoyed
Well,
it.
you had a nice outfit. Everybody
Thank
was
you.
dressed so well. I was
Yes,
impressed.
I really love the theme. Is there going to be a theme again?
Wow. Do you think
You'll
I've
have to
given that
see.
any thought yet?
she just woke
Gotta have
up.
a theme.
If you
And
heard the talk,
Laura's real boa. I still think about that.
All I know is it made it. It stood out in every photo. I was like, holy moly.
But Laura, I have to tell everybody when I'm talking to people, I say, Laura walked up to me and said, hey, pull out your phone and take a picture of me and your husband.
Oh, no,
We matched. We matched.
Margaritaville is still cleaning up the feathers from Lynn, I think.
Oh my
I
gosh.
am sure they were everywhere. Black and red everywhere.
There were some really, really good pictures.
Yeah.
They were great.
Yeah, they were
And
nice.
that was fun.
Yeah, I thought our photographer was the best one ever.
he was
Yeah.
good.
Some great pics. So,
It was nice.
all
You all
right,
have-
guys.
Do you all have any suggestions for a theme for next year?
Ooh, I'll have to think about that.
Think about it.
Yeah, I'll think about something too, because I really enjoyed that dressing up and all of that. That was fun.
Well,
Mhm.
in the past, I think we had a 70s and we had sports and we wore our uniform or not uniform. Yeah, I guess jerseys.
Well, that was
and-
for the welcome reception.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we've changed things since then, but we
Red
had
ca-
some
Red
dress
carpet
ups.
glam.
What?
Red carpet glam.
We
Give us
did
a-
that.
It's been a long time though.
Yeah, we did the red carpet.
Since we're doing California, I don't know. Just thinking about it.
Well, think about it. We love your ideas.
All right, guys. Well, you guys have a good rest of your week, and I guess it'll be the fall when we talk next time as a group. So
Yep.
enjoy what's left of summer. Ready for a cool down here in Texas.
And
So,
football.
And football.
yeah, there we go.
Yes.
All right, guys. Y'all have a
Robbie,
good
get
week.
the
guys.
salad
Talk to you
ready.
guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye,
Bye, guys.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.